Monday night, 8 o'clock. It's tea time. It's May 25th. It's Memorial Day. I'm hoping everyone had a nice Memorial Day chilling with their families or being with whoever you're quarantined with these days. I actually went to the cemetery yesterday to pay a visit to my best friend who passed away 4 years ago with my girlfriend Grace and my friend Alexis. So I just want to give a shout out to them. We did our social distancing and I bought lunch and went to a park afterwards. And it was, you know what, it was nice to be out for 3 hours because I've been really, doing what I'm supposed to do at home and not really going out too much. But listen, my hour goes fast and you guys know that. I'm really excited to announce my next guest. Is Julia Scotti's in the house. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Oh, hi, Theresa. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I am groovalicious, babe.
I'm happy to hear it. Listen, I want to, get as much information out there to all my listeners and viewers out there. You're a Jersey girl. You're originally from Fairview, New Jersey.
I'm a river rat. What you call a river rat? We right on the Hudson River. Yep, grew up there. Yep.
Yeah,
north of Hoboken.
Hi, Grace. We were just talking about you. Grace is listening from the Boogie Down Bronx. You're a comedian. You're an author. You're a speaker. You're also a former teacher.
I was, yeah, a stripper. I was a.
You actually are going
mayor of Cleveland. I was the. No, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, it's okay. You're actually going to be celebrating. May 31st, the end of this month, you're going to be celebrating 40 years in comedy.
I know.
Right?
I know. It's frightening, isn't it? Isn't it? It's just. There's no words. I can't even. It's surreal, is what it is.
You started in stand-up on May 31st, 1980, 40 years ago this month. Where was that?
The Jade Fountain Restaurant in Paramus, New Jersey. It was on the show, and you can verify this. With Jackie Martling was the host.
Oh wow, yeah.
And there's a piece of paper that he has that's on my Facebook page too with the lineup, and it was Jerry Seinfeld, Eddie Murphy, Gilbert, and somebody else I forget, and me, and I was on there. Yeah.
That's great. I saw it. It's wild, right?
It's cool, isn't it? Yeah.
It's very cool.
I wonder whatever happened to those people.
I just want to say hello to Kristen Tinsley's watching, a fellow comic, my friend Janet.
Hi, Kristen. Hey.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Like it, share it, start a watch party, do whatever you want with this show, but get it out there for me. So, Julia, listen, you have a very unique story because the first, 48 years of your life, you were actually known as Rick Scotti.
Yes,
and
I was.
You actually toured the country and you opened up for people like Lou Rawls and Chicago, which is actually my husband's favorite all-time band.
Oh, really?
Opened up for Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge, and Gary Puckett. I mean, this is major.
I had a career. I was lucky to get in at the beginning of the boom.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I just got in under the wire. And as the 80s progressed, the work was just everywhere.
Yes.
And I started to work with these groups, and they were usually one-nighters, but, you develop a nice resume. So it was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you decided to stop doing comedy. Why?
I was getting up there in age, and it wasn't happening. I had seen so many of my friends that were doing so many great things, gone on to fame and fortune.
Right.
And sometimes you just look at things and you got to be honest and go, all right, it's not going to happen for me. And so I went back to college, got my degree, and became a teacher, 6th grade language arts teacher in Freehold.
Wow.
Freehold, New Jersey. Yep.
You did that in 2000, right? In 2000, you went to go teach?
2001.
2001.
Yes, it was October. I came in late in the year.
Yeah.
And it was right after 9/11. Right.
And then you taught for a while.
7 years.
2011, that's when someone said, "Hey, why aren't you doing comedy anymore?"
Well, there was another in between it. I taught until 2007. In 2008, timing is everything. I became a stockbroker. In 2008, when the market collapsed.
Oh, Maron.
Yeah. So, needless to say, it was a struggle. And then in 2011, my friend Chris Rich and we had lunch together.
Yeah.
And she said to me, when are you coming back to comedy?
Right.
And I said, never. I'm old. I'm a transgendered woman. Who the hell's going to want to hear me? And it just happened that she was working at this club called the Comedy Works in Bristol, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And have you worked it? Do you know the club?
No, but I know it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And I'd worked there for many, many years. And so I did a guest set there. And that was all, that's all you need when you're a comic. You just need that shot. It's like heroin.
So when did you actually become Julia doing comedy?
That's an interesting question because I had never intended to be Julia doing comedy. It's just that I went up that night. I figured, all right, well, maybe I can do this once in a while, just to get it out of my system. And the next thing I know, I had opened up a little once a week cabaret in Philadelphia called Julia Scotti's Comedy Test Kitchen. And, I modeled it after the original Improv in New York where I started.
Yeah.
And we would get talent coming in, singers, comics. We did sketches there. And it went really well for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then they sold the place. But what happened was, I guess somewhere along the way, this reporter from the Philadelphia Gay Times saw me and did a front page article. My face plastered on the front page. Got me a lot of national recognition.
Oh, sure.
And from that point, AGT was not far behind.
Right, AGT. So for those of you who don't know, America's Got Talent, you were on season 11, right? And that was that 2015 or 2016?
Yeah, okay.
Something like that, maybe both.
I think I think it was 2016. Yeah, I think it was 2016.
You were on season 11. You made it to the quarterfinals. Right? Quarterfinalists. And I have to say something. I remember you on it. I watched you on it, and I was blown away. I really was. And I Howie Mandel, basically, you did two things on that show, which I don't think you planned on doing. All right. on Television Network, you dropped the F-bomb, and you basically announced that you were transgender in front of like 14 million people.
Go big or go home. Well, here, let me tell you the story about the F-bomb, okay? Because there was a story there. Right?
Because you're supposed to be clean and clever for AGT.
Well, the exec producer was a British guy named Nigel, and he's been doing the show for, I think, since its beginning, like 11, 12 years. And he just before I went on, I'm literally backstage. And he said, "Are you going to do it, Julia?" And I said, "Well," I don't think so, Nigel. I don't want to. I had an alternate line planned.
Right.
I said, these people are going to kill me if I say, that on television. And he's like, "Trust me, they'll love you." And I'm like, that's easy for you to say. You're not putting your career on the line,
Right.
And so I got out onto the stage, and I'm doing this. Set's going pretty well. And came that moment for that joke.
Right.
I had a little executive meeting in my head. It's like, should we do it? I don't know. Take a chance. No. And, the one person, decision maker, went, "Oh, screw it. Go for it."
Right.
So I just took a deep breath. He popped out, and I just waited.
And everyone went nuts. They loved it.
They went nuts. I was like, "Oh my God, look at this."
They loved it. And I think
I
think in all their history, you're probably the only one who has ever dropped the F-bomb. And I think that because you were so real and authentic, you know what I mean? I think the audience just fell in love with you right then and there.
It was, yeah, I mean, thank God I was able to do it because it's the only word that would have worked for that joke.
Yeah, you know, frig, sometimes frig just isn't the same.
No, it just wasn't. This was, and I'm very selective about my use of that word anyway. So in my act, I maybe have one. I only did if I'm lucky, if I want to.
Right.
This is one of those cases where nothing else would have worked.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I think it was a great call, and I have to say that Howie, said and asked you why you started comedy so late in life. And he just opened a door and girl, you stepped through it.
Well, I wasn't going to, they left that up to me. I did not have to come out.
Right.
And again, it was one of those things where I'm having an executive meeting and I said to myself, all right, if I come out, I might be able to help some kid because I'm really concerned about the trans population, youngsters, 40% suicide attempt rate, not right,
No.
And I said, if they could see somebody that's like them, great. And if the straight people could see that I'm not crazy, even greater.
Right.
So I waited until the set was over. I did not want to do it. If I was going to do it, I didn't want to do it till the set was over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened.
Yeah. We have Marianne Mazzano from the Italian Chicks wants to know, do you do any transgender comedy? And if so, do you do it for the LGBTQ plus?
I do, but not. I do transhuman, being trans. But 99% of my audiences are cis people. They're straight people.
Right.
Just show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trans people, they don't come out. I don't know why they don't come out. I wish they would come out. I
in
get
more ways than one, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a hard life,
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
And every now and then I'll get an email from somebody who's thanking me for whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the truth. After Howie asked you why you started in comedy so late in life, and you actually explained to him that you were doing comedy for a long time as Rick Scotti, he quote, whether you're a man or a woman, you're human and you're funny, talented, and brave. And
he was really nice. I thought, in fact, we had approached him about something, or my manager approached him about something about a year or two ago, and surprisingly, he still remembered me. So I guess that's kind of cool.
It is cool. You made a great impression. You really did. All right, listen, I have so many more questions for you. We're going to take a quick break for my sponsors. Everyone stay there. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Julia. Stay there.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Tavolo Kitchen and Pizza, located at 1919 Wantaw Avenue in Wantaw. Hey, there's something for every night of the week. Tuesdays, pasta night, wine Wednesdays, Friday, live music from 7 to 10, Sunday brunch. So check them out at 516-308-4892 or www.tavolokitchen.com. They're also on Instagram. They do catering and private parties. So where do you want to go tonight?
Are you bored?
Oh my God!
Hold on tight. We're gonna coast us.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Tea Time. I'm here with Julia Scotti, and we're talking about her career. And, she's a comedian, author, speaker, former teacher. And we were just talking about her being on America's Got Talent and how she dropped the F-bomb on the show. And also, admittedly that she was transgender and that she worked for years as Rick Scotti. I want to know, how'd you pick the name Julia? Where'd that come from?
That's an interesting question. Okay, when the
I
time
try,
came,
Julia. I try.
when I was first transitioning, I was really like lost in space. I had no idea what I was clawing at everything, and I needed to come up with a name.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of Cyrano de Bergerac, Cyrano and the play, and I said, well, Roxanne would fit good because it's sort of like this unrequited love that I've had all these years, and it's this whole coming out thing, and I called my niece, who's like my daughter, and she was like, "What the fuck? You crazy?" Blah, blah. I go, "All right, well, maybe not." So we hit a couple of names, and we talked about. I was a fan of designing women.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Julia Sugarbaker, Delta Burke, not Delta Burke, Dixie Carter's character.
Yeah.
And it started to sound like a good name. My middle name is Diane.
Okay.
So that's how it happened.
That's great. I love that. When, if you can remember, was the exact moment that you decided to live an authentic life as Julia?
I was with someone, a woman that I was married to for 15 years, and we weren't married for 15 years, but we were together for 15 years. But I was having issues where I knew something was amiss with me. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Right.
I thought I was gay. And I tried a couple of times to be gay with somebody, and I just kept throwing up.
Right,
which
right.
is probably not a good sign.
Right.
It's probably a sign that you're not gay if you're throwing up.
Right.
But I had a dinner. I met this guy, and I had dinner. I cooked dinner for him, like Donna Reed, and I got all. And he came over, and I was all googly, and he came over, and long story short, we did the deed. He had brought two bottles of wine over. Almost finished one of them. The other one was never even opened. When it was over, he got up and left and took the wine with him. And I was devastated. And I called my friend. She all happened. She's a psychologist, and she came over, and I was just distraught.
Right.
And she said, it just these things keep happening. She goes, it doesn't sound like you want to love a man. It sounds like you want to be loved like a woman. She goes, I think you are a woman. And something about the way she said it finally resonated.
Clicked,
it was like a light went on.
Yeah.
Because I had been told, I'd been married twice before, and both of my wives told me the same, that I was a woman. And I was like, but
as a child, you really never felt that comfortable in your body, right?
No, never. I never, the neighborhood I grew up in, you had to sort of play the part of,
a macho, yeah.
Yeah. It was, but
want to be.
Yeah. But in my heart, that's not who I was.
Right.
It wasn't who I was.
And, it was a struggle. It was a struggle for you for a long time. It's.
Well, because there was no information about being trans back then. I'm a kid of the 50s, I grew up. So I grew up in the early 60s. So
yeah.
Who the hell knew? Who knew? I didn't know. Did you know? I didn't know.
So
but, she helped me get there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to hear it. And like you said, when you did do AGT, I know you did help a lot of people out there struggling to I have a quote from you where you say, follow your bliss. And I love that. Actually, that's, every week I title the show and I give it a description, and I titled it Follow Your Bliss. Life is so short and it's so precious. And I want to thank you for living an authentic life, because that's the only way I think everyone would really be happy with themselves is to live that way.
The world would be in a much better situation if people did that.
Amen. Yeah, because I think a lot of people, they put on airs and they put out, they pretend to be other people. And I'm so big on authenticity. And when you said, you know, follow your bliss, that clicked with me. You know, it resonated.
I used to tell it to my students, even in the 6th grade. You know, like they would tell me what. I had one student in particular, and she's still in my life. She's
that's great.
Like 30 almost, I think.
Yeah.
And she went through a bunch of iterations with her career. And, you know, and I said, well, if that's what your heart tells you should be doing, then that's what you should be doing. You are where you're supposed to be at that moment.
Right.
And she just got a job as a flight attendant, and she's deliriously happy.
That's great.
And I'm happy for her. So it is, you know, sometimes it takes a while, you know, to get where you need to be.
Yeah. Now, listen, here's another question for you, because, you know, we talked a little bit before the show, because you're like, who are you?
I know who you are. I just don't know what your
some people know me, some people don't. You know, we all, you know, it's one big comedy family, but that doesn't mean, you know, we all know each other and work together. You know what I mean? But
we have worked together, right? We've worked together, haven't we?
I don't think so, but I'd love to.
I don't know. What the hell am I doing here?
No. Maybe it's Manzo. I don't know. I got to look back in the archives.
No, Candace.
Here's my question to you, because I know when I started, you started in the 80s, right?
Right.
And I started in the 90s. And I want to know, is it easier to do comedy as a man or a woman?
Well, that's an interesting, I get that question periodically from people.
Yeah.
And the answer is, I don't know. I just do it as me.
Right.
And I figure, you know, if you're gendered and you're working in the deep South, you got your own problems. I can't worry about whether it's easier or harder to be a man. I will tell you this, though, because that question of gender comes up, and it's one that I've struggled with my whole life.
Yeah.
And I when I was in the hospital, my roommate was a young British girl, and we were talking about this the night before our surgeries. And she said to me, you know, I said, we're going to achieve our dream tomorrow and be women when this is all over. And she said to me, well, we'll never be women. And we are women, but we're not. And that stayed with me. Well, it's still with me to this day. And it took me a long time to reconcile that in my head, because more than anything, I wanted to be just female.
Right.
And, you know, for social purposes, I am. That's on my license. It's, you know, but internally, I am part female. I am part male. I am what the Native Americans call a two-spirits. You'll find us in Hindu culture. You'll find us all over the world. Mm-hmm. Some cultures revere us like Native Americans as shamans. So I am. The answer to your question is I am and I'm not, and it's easier. I don't know. It's just me.
Right. Well, because I find as a female comic back then, for me it was harder to get stage time.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, Carol Montgomery has talked about this.
Boy, how I wish, you know, I had something between my legs down there so I can get up there and do what I had. You know what I'm saying?
They each carry their own problems, though, Theresa.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Marianne has something else. If I could read it, it says, "Do you agree and support the inequality that goes on between female comics and male comics?" This is what we're trying to touch upon, because we shouldn't have to practice with the gender before the word comic. I think when people get on stage, they'll know if they're male or female.
Well, I actually had this argument with U.S. Now that you brought it up, when I first came back, every time there was a newspaper article about me, or if there was a marquee with my name on it, it was always transgender comic Julia Scotti, you know, coming up, transgender comic Julia Scotti. And it was like, you know, that's not my name.
Right.
And it got to the point where I had to be kind of a dick and say, listen, you got to, no pun intended. I made myself laugh. Anyway, I just had to make a point of, please don't refer to me as that. We can talk about it, but, I'm not a transgender comic. I'm a comic who happens to be transgender.
Correct. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Look, we're all comics first.
Exactly. I mean, you're not a female comic. You're a comic who happens to be female.
Right. And like Marianne said, it's not like you have to say, oh, next up is the funniest female comic, or the next, like she said, when you get on stage, they know who they're watching. They know what they're watching.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. It's like when I saw when I did AGT and I looked at the next day, I looked at the clips on YouTube, and the comments were, I knew right away. And I know they didn't know right away, but people, they want to suspect things all the time.
They think they know. They think
they know. And even if they do know, I don't care.
You know what matters? What matters is you're funny, and you made, like I said, you made the crowd go nuts. And I want to know, Julia, who did you call after that performance off stage?
A lot of people have asked me that question. There were two. Well, one person in the back was my manager at the time, and her name was Kathy Caldwell. She was off stage, and I, immediately ran over to her and we just hugged for like a minute. But the next person I call, I have no family except for I just say no family, but I have an older sister, a niece, and my kids, 2 kids.
Was she in the audience? Was your sister the one in the audience?
No. She was
okay.
I called her.
Okay.
And I couldn't really even hear her because there was screaming, that's how loud it was backstage.
Yeah.
But I that's who I was talking to, and I couldn't really think of what to say. And I just said I didn't have a heart attack, which I don't know what the hell made me say that, but yeah.
Who was in the audience when you did the joke about being cremated and always having an excuse to eat?
No, the joke is that because I was heavy.
Right.
We're going to need a bigger urn.
Right.
And that was the joke. There were a couple of more jokes attached to it, which I don't remember. I'm sorry. It was a funny bit, though. I remember that.
It was a great bit. It was great. Yeah. It was great. And
they scatter the ashes. They scatter the ashes on the ocean, and they make a sandbar with ashes because there's so many of them. Yes, that was the joke.
You won Simon over, and that's not easy to do either.
I was watching him.
You were naughty. I like that you're naughty.
It was my goal to make him laugh. I didn't care about Heidi. I knew she'd never laugh because Germans, but him I wanted to make laugh, and when I saw him crack up, I went, "Oh, this is good."
You had him. He bit, and you reeled him in.
Exactly.
That's it. That's a great feeling. Well, listen, we're gonna take another quick break. Everyone, stay tuned. We got Denise DiCarlo watching. We got Eli watching. I call him Dimples.
Dimples.
Yeah. Okay. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back with Julia. Don't go away.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Tavolo Kitchen and Pizza, located at 1919 Wantagh Avenue in Wantagh. Hey, there's something for every night of the week. Tuesdays, pasta night. Wine Wednesdays. Friday, live music from 7 to 10. Sunday, brunch. So check them out at 516-308-4892 or www.tavolokitchen.com. They're also on Instagram. They do catering and private parties. So where do you want to go tonight?
Why don't we go to Coasters?
Oh, cool. I heard it's a great place. Let's check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh my God.
Tea Time. I'm Theresa Farrell, and I'm back with Julia Scotti. Julia's a comedian, author, speaker, former teacher, and she was on America's Got Talent in 2016. It's been 4 years, Julia. Can you believe that?
I know. Well, we know we have the new special out too. Did you?
Well, tell me about it.
Oh, all right. I didn't know if we were gonna. Is that on your list of stuff you want to talk about?
Oh, real quick, we'll say that Denise DiCarlo said you made her laugh out loud. We've got Taz, the residential artist, watching. We've got everyone tuning in. I'm so glad. Like the show, share the show, start a party. We've got everyone loving you right now.
Thank you, Denise. Did I make you laugh out loud tonight or some other time in the past?
Both, maybe both.
That's the look I get, by the way. Now I'm trying to, I'm getting older, and I'm having to lie about my age, and it's getting harder. And like,
I have to tell you, you look beautiful. You have the most beautiful skin. I swear.
Well, thank you. I thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm trying to pass. I told people, and I kept getting this face. So I can't lie about it anymore. What happened? I lost audio. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I
only hear you in one channel now.
I can hear you. You there?
Oh, you know what? You know why I only hear you in one channel? Because my thing fell out. Last time my thing fell out, I changed my name to Julia. What? Are you there?
My thing, So listen,
that's better.
You mentioned you were married twice.
I was.
I'm on my second too. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were married twice, and you did have children, right?
I do. I still have them.
How many kids do you have?
I tried to sell them, but I have 3. 1 from my first marriage and 2 from my second.
Right. And I know in the beginning, I guess when you were transitioning, it wasn't easy on them.
It was not easy on them. We were estranged for quite a while, and I couldn't really blame them. And I kind of backed away to protect them too, because I knew they would catch a lot of crap from their friends if it got out, and so I didn't want to. I didn't want any harm to come to them. I still don't, obviously.
Sure.
And over the years, as they grew up, we've grown closer again. So, in fact, my youngest boy is a sketch comic. He's a writer. He writes sketches, and he performs in them. So he's.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, which makes his mother thrilled that he wants to be in show.
Comedy from you, right?
Julia's Revenge. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I'm happy to hear it, because family is everything, really.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice when you reconnect in any kind of way with any kind of family or friends. So it's nice. It's nice that it doesn't wear on your heart anymore. You know what I mean?
Speaking of my heart, you know about my heart, right?
Heart. Yes, you had a heart attack.
Well, I didn't have a heart attack.
Well, you had. You gave me a heart attack knowing you had a problem with your heart.
Oh well, I didn't know I had a problem with my heart. I was supposed to have back surgery,
right?
And I was a heavy smoker. I was a heavy smoker. I mean, and I was having trouble catching my breath, and so I stopped smoking in November of 2018.
Right.
After 50 years. 50 years of smoking, right? So I went to the doctor just for my pre-operation checkup, and he goes, "I want you to have a chest X-ray." So I went and got the chest X-ray. And it came back, and he's going, "You got an enlarged heart." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? I got no heart problems." As it turned out, I had major heart problems. I had quadruple bypass, and I had 1 valve replaced.
Wow.
And 1 valve repaired. Yeah. So,
and this was only last year, right?
It was in December 22nd of 2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's listen here. Well, we know Carol Montgomery, the comedian Carol.
Yeah,
Montgomery.
we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, well, because that ties into this story.
Yeah.
Well, you want to tell who Carol is, and then
I'll tell you real quick. Yeah, Carol Montgomery. You Julia does a show every Wednesday at 4:00 in the afternoon called the Early Bird Special. Carol Montgomery is a comedian, and she does a show called Women of a Certain Age. And you actually did a show with her, and it was featured on Showtime.
Right. I did more Funny Women of a Certain Age, and
you were amazing.
Thank you very much. I was originally scheduled for the first show.
Right.
We was booked for the show. We were supposed to tape it January 14th of 2019, and then I got sick, and I tried to get ready for it. And I just could not. I wasn't physically able to. And Carol, God bless her, said to me, "Listen," she goes, "I don't know if there's going to be a second show," and we didn't at that point. She goes, "But there is. If there is, you are on it." And true to her word, and I think last summer or whenever it was, they got the go ahead for the second version. More Funny Women of a Certain Age, and that's the one I was on. So God bless Carol Montgomery. She's doing so much for female comics, older female comics.
Yeah. I think I actually contacted her because I'm a woman of a certain age.
You.
I am. I'm not as young as I look. I have really good genes in my family.
You must, because you look great.
Thank you. This is a true story. My grandfather was like 92 and not one wrinkle on his face. And I said to my grandmother, "Graham, how can Grandpa have not one wrinkle on his face? He's 92 years old." She said, "You want to know why?" I said, "Because they're all on his balls."
Oh, Nonas, you gotta love them.
Yeah. So I'm over 50. Well over 50, and
okay.
But I actually did contact her because I was like, "Hey, I'm a woman of a certain age, and I don't know, something got lost in translation. Maybe I didn't follow up, whatever." But you were on the Showtime special. It was great. And you do this show now Wednesdays at 4:00 called the Early Bird Special, and you're actually having on Susie
Essman. Yeah.
Susie Essman this Wednesday, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Live. We're live at 4:00.
And you're live at 4:00. And how long have you been doing the show?
This is going to be, I think, our fifth week. I think this is
nice.
Week. Yeah. Yeah. We were both going nuts. We were both, hanging around the house. It's like we got to do something.
Everyone's trying to find something to do, and I want to thank Carol Tuda for tuning in, and Cheryl and Steve Vaccaro, the producer of Bat Boy, which is a show that I'm in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please like the share the show.
Share the show.
That's like that tongue twister, please shine my city shoes. Can you say that fast?
Well, I've never heard that one. Please shine my city shoes.
Yeah, really quick.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
That is. So you go in for one surgery, and thank God during the pre-op they find that you have a heart problem, and they fix it. And how are you doing today?
I feel 20 years younger. Obviously I quit smoking. It'll be 2 years in November. But thank you. I miss it.
You just extended your life by doing that,
I know, but I miss smoking.
You do? Really? But what do you miss about it? It's expensive?
Did you ever smoke?
Stinky?
Did you ever smoke?
No, but my first boyfriend smoked, and it was like kissing an ashtray. I used to make him chew Dentine before he kissed me.
Well, I'm not arguing with you about the stink. I know I stunk, but that's why I'm single. It didn't matter. Yeah, people wouldn't even come to my house because it stunk so much. I didn't care. I was like a heroin addict, man. I was like, I don't care what you think, and I was real belligerent about it. I don't care.
Right. Well, a friend of mine had one heart attack, didn't stop smoking. Had 2 heart attacks, didn't stop smoking. By the 3rd heart attack, he finally stopped smoking. I'm like, seriously? It took 3 heart attacks?
It's hard, man. I quit smoking. People ask how I did it. Here's how I did it.
The patch, or did you go cold turkey?
I didn't do bupkis. I had trouble catching my breath, as I said. And I said, well, all right, I'm going to have to quit. So I was down to my last cigarette, and I sat down. I had an ashtray there. My lighter was there. and I held the cigarette in my hand. If you can't see it, like this, like kind of like this, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Where is it? Where's the frigging camera? Like that. I broke up with my cigarettes. I said, "Look, we've been together for a long, long time. I love you. I love you. The relationship with you is the longest one I've ever had with anybody."
Right.
And I said, "But it's time for us to go our separate ways." And so I said, "I'm going to smoke you. And when I'm done with you, I'm going to put this ashtray away, and I'm never going to have a cigarette again." And that's what happened.
Wow. Now, did they want you to stop smoking for a period of time before they did the?
No, we didn't even know. I didn't even know what was wrong with me at that point. I just stopped smoking.
Right. Oh, okay.
The fact that I was gasping for air.
Yeah, that was a big sign.
Should have been a tell. Yeah, that was,
a big sign. So listen, I want to talk about you and I.
Uh-oh. You're married.
We're in love with the same man at one time. And it was Italian from Jersey, from Patterson.
Lou Costello. Oh, the reason I'm in comedy.
Loved him. And you loved him too. So tell me about how much you love Lou and what he did for you.
I was a very sad kid. All right. My family life was absolutely horrible at home. And so I was kind of always, that's, why we become comics. Looking for a happy place, right? And so I used to walk home from kindergarten every day, number 3 school on Cliff Street in Fairview. And I'd have to walk past this old bakery called Vesuvius Bakery. And it smelled, typical Italian bakery, the smells would just knock your socks off.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking by one day, I look in the window, and there is hanging a picture of Abbott and Costello. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm 5 years old. And it's signed. Oh my God, brush with greatness, Wow. And I knew they were both from Jersey, but I knew Lou was from Patterson, right?
Right.
And I felt that was like my first connection. It was like discovering sex, Yeah. That's something awoke in me. Awakened. I taught English, by the way, too. Awakened? I don't know. Well, you get the idea. Anyway, so that's my connection to Lou. So
yeah.
Yours?
I watched them what were they on? Every Sunday, Channel 11, right?
Officer Joe or Chuck McCann or... Yeah, Channel 11 every Sunday. Well, let me ask you a question. That's typically not a comedian that appeals to young females.
I am an old soul. Yeah. And he reminded me just a little bit of my grandfather. Just a little bit.
Yeah. He had a lot of Italian mannerisms and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. What are your feelings on the Three Stooges?
Oh, I love them too.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think I was born in the wrong era. Is it era or era? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out, did I awaken or was I awoke?
I just feel like sometimes I was born in the wrong decade. You know what I mean?
I think we all feel that way. I mean, not we don't all feel that way, but I mean, a lot of us feel that way.
Yeah.
It's but interesting.
I just love that stuff.
All right. So who was your favorite Stooge?
Oh, I liked Curly.
I knew that. Although I've come in my old age, come to appreciate the beauty of Larry Fine.
Yeah.
Just absolutely.
Yeah.
Billy West. Have you ever heard Billy West do his impression of Larry Fine?
No.
Oh, he's a voiceover guy. He used to be on Howard Stern all the time, but he does a killer Larry Fine. You can't tell the difference.
That's great.
Yeah.
Billy Mira was on Howard Stern. Is that who you mean? Billy Mira?
No, Billy West. Billy
Oh,
West.
Billy West. And then I also loved watching, Groucho Marx and the Marx Brothers.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So listen, I want to, who else is saying hello? Nancy saying hello. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Ken. Hello, Lou Pratt. Thank you, everyone, for watching and tuning in. I'm here with Julia Scotti. So listen, I want to let everyone know that, not only can they find you on Wednesdays at 4:00 at the Early Bird Special, but you also did something called Hello, Boys, I'm Back. Tell me about that.
Wait a minute. I'll do more than tell you about it. Hang on.
You're going to show me?
Hang on.
Oh, we got visual.
I'm getting it.
Okay.
Joey, throw me the album. Okay. Hang on a second. Are you there?
I'm here. Let me see
so
it.
There it is.
That's it.
On Uproar Records. Actually, this is we were supposed to do a second album, and then the plague hit, so I have to postpone that for a while. But
get a hold of the album?
You can go to any platform. You can go to Amazon. You can go to Spotify, YouTube, any of those, and you can just get it. Okay. Pandora, you can put it on your Pandora. Feels good if you put it on your Pandora, but so Hello Boys, I'm Back is the name of it.
Hello Boys, I'm Back. Everyone get that. Make sure they get it.
Everybody screws it up.
Do you hello Michael Longo and Alexis, thank you for tuning in. Please like the show, please share it. I'm with the one and only Julia Scotti. Julia is a comedian, author, speaker, former teacher. She was on America's Got Talent back in 2016, made it to the quarterfinals, dropped the F-bomb and had them eating out of the palm of your hand. You had them. You had and there's nothing like that feeling. Once you have them and you really have them.
That theater, we did that first show in Pasadena, and it was I forget the name of the place, the Pasadena Community something or other, but it was about 2,500 people.
Wow!
And it was enormous. And compared to where we did the finals, the quarterfinals, which is where they do the Oscars.
Yes.
Of course, from with the Chinese theaters, that place was like a cathedral. I mean, and you walk out onto that stage, and it's like it takes your breath away.
It's a question when you were headlining and opening up for like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons and Chicago and Lou Rawls. I mean, those were huge venues as well, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but I was a much younger comic, and I was much less experienced. And Frankie, we did, the shows I did with him were 1,200, 15, 2,000 maybe. Chicago. I did up in.
Tell me about Chicago.
Oh my God, we did that up in New York State somewhere. Where that?
The band Chicago. The band.
The band. Yeah.
Wanted to clarify.
Yeah, and it was like a 6,000 seat theater or something like that, and it was right outside of Binghamton, I think. And Bloom County Arena, that was the name of the place. Isn't that funny how you remember that? Anyway, the guys were great. The band, they were sweet guys, and we're sitting backstage, in the after the sound check, and they had craft table, and we're sitting around eating. And Jimmy Pankow, I think, who plays one of the founding members, and I think he's a trombonist. I forget what he plays, but he said to me, "How do you do this?" I go, "How do I do what?" He goes, "How do you get up in front of people like that?" I go, "Are you kidding me? You're freaking Chicago. Working in stadiums. How do you do that?" He goes, "Yeah, but he's like, if we screw up, we got the rest of the band that covers." I go,
right.
Yeah, now that you mention it, thank you for putting the fear of God in me.
It's like walking out on stage naked,
It is, and I had never worked a crowd that big before. That's a whole different way of working.
I'm sure.
It's definitely not like a. It's not a club set. You don't do it like a club at all.
No, it's so different when you do a theater compared to a comedy.
And I love theaters. I prefer theaters to comedy clubs now.
Right. Well, that's why I wanted to ask you, because I want people to follow you, and your website is juliascotti.com, correct? Yep. So make sure you go to that, because I did go to your schedule, and for the month of May, I did see that you were supposed to be in Jersey, right at Evan. right?
We were supposed to be in Dallas. We were supposed to be upstate New York. We were supposed to be all over. Yeah, it's depressing.
It's they're saying that the entertainment industry is going to be the last phase.
Of course.
And I know things are going to be so different when we return.
Not to sound like I'm complaining.
I'll go for it.
I'm 40 years in this business. I've been through 2.5 marriages, heart surgery, back surgery, gender change. I finally catch a break, and plague happens. I mean, what the? I've given up.
I have to say, life is, life's all about timing, and the
mine sucks.
It really is. I mean, I tell you the truth. I've had moments in my life where I felt momentum going for me, and then like a bomb drops too.
Yeah,
so I totally relate to this.
We had all this. We still got momentum, but this was like 2 years of building and building and building and look at what we're gonna do, and bupkis.
So then, other than doing the show on Wednesdays at 4:00, please tune in, everybody. Early Bird Special with Julia and Carol. And what else are you doing to actually, keep yourself from,
Well, there's a documentary in my life that's finished now.
Oh, that's great.
Again, everything's on hold because the film festivals aren't happening. But the woman who produced the film, it's been in the works for 5 years now, is named Susan Sandler. She's a writer. She's a professor at NYU, but she wrote the movie Crossing Delancey.
Oh, wow.
So, and as well as a number of other plays too. But she's the director of this movie, and we're just trying to find a home for it now.
Right.
Not knowing what the film festival situation is going to be like. But having said that, I'm working on new material. I'm writing a play.
That's great.
Yeah. Well,
so if someone wanted to play Julia Scotti, who would you want to play you?
Ooh, at what age?
Let's go from Rick to Julia. Who would play both? Who would play both?
Wow, no one's ever asked me that question before.
Oh yeah, baby. Who would play Rick and who would play Julia?
You know who? Christine Lottie would be.
Oh, I love her.
Huh?
I love her.
Do you know who she is? Yeah, I love her too.
Great actress.
Yeah, she is a great actress. I think she would be a good choice. There would be others, but I'd have to really think about it.
Yeah.
Great question, though.
Thank you. And who would play Rick?
Harrison Ford. No, Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott could play anything. He can play me when the show's over if he wants.
Love him too. All right, listen, we have 1 minute, so okay. I want to wrap up by personally thanking you for doing this for me. You're a pleasure. I'm going to hold you to that. And I want to thank Greg DiFilippo in Florida is watching, Tony, Carol. Again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching. Go to juliascotti.com. Watch her on Wednesdays, 4:00, the Early Bird Special with Carol Montgomery, and get her CD album.
Yes. Okay? I need the money.
Yeah, we're all looking to make some fuzzles.
I need the fuzz. I got the boost here. Put the money in there.
All right, listen. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Tea Time. I love you all. Come back next Monday night. I got another great guest. Ciao.
Ciao.